sell jeans with holes in them. I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
To...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
The football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the gridiron action. Right now, you can make entries and win money in Missouri. And playing on Underdog is so easy. Just choose if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And I love playing on the Underdog app. Not only do I like football, but I love basketball and hockey as well. I can mix and match selections from each sport into one entry to see what I do. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code BOB to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
After Hours, 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez. Coming up at 7:30, we're going to talk NFL Divisional Round playoffs with Jordan Foote of HeavySports.com. The Kansas City Royals with a couple of news headlines today. The first, and maybe less impactful of the two in terms of its future, the Kansas City Royals have announced their schedule for their first spring training workouts for the time being. What exactly it means, I mean, just pitchers and catchers and those sorts of things. I'm not sure if it matters a whole lot to particular people. The bigger story, however, is the list of international prospects that the Kansas City Royals signed today. And there are some names on here that are of note. First and foremost, the biggest name on here was Angel Gomez, who is listed according to MLB Pipeline as the number 4 international prospect in this class. Fangraphs has him at number 3. Baseball America has him at number 7 overall. He is 6'2", and they describe him as a 5-tool athlete. Baseball America's scouting report on him says that he is a player who makes frequent contact, has a good sense of the strike zone, and big-time raw power. He has a patient and mature approach at the plate. He was the MVP of the Amateur Scouting League back in 2024. He hit .370 with an OPS of 1,200. They project him as a guy that is capable of being a 25 to 30 home run per year threat, capable of playing center field, and is a, as they call it, plus runner. So they believe he has elite speed on the base paths. The report is that the Royals gave him a signing bonus of $2.9 million. Shortstop Haider Suarez. Haider, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name. I apologize. He is a Cuban standout. Baseball America has him as the number 23 prospect in the class. He is a younger player. He is a plus runner with a good arm. Could end up hitting 20-plus homers per year, according to Baseball America, with a strong frame, broad shoulders, and good bat-to-ball skills. They gave him $1.7 million. And then Adrian Lunar is the number 43 prospect in the class, according to MLB Pipeline. He is a catcher, 5'10", so a little bit on the shorter side. He favors contact over power. His bat is ahead of his glove, but has plus pop times and shows off a strong arm. He is from Venezuela. Hey, there's another catcher for the Royals that happens to be from Venezuela. What's that guy's name? Salvador Perez. But I think we will hold off on the comparisons beyond that. Okay, we need to see a little bit more from the guy. Michael Rondon is the number 72 prospect, according to Baseball America. He's 6 foot tall, needs to put on some weight. He's 150 pounds, but he is a, quote, savvy, high-energy player with a high-contact bat. Royals gave him $700,000. They gave $650,000 to Leandro Brasino, the number 77 prospect, according to Baseball America. And they gave $350,000 to shortstop Rinson Tenas out of Panama. They signed 19 international prospects in total, did the Kansas City Royals. The player, these are all players who have to be 16, but cannot turn 17 before September 1st the following year. So all of these guys are much more on the younger side, which is obviously the consensus among younger players traditionally in the history of baseball. You know, there are some interesting news and notes that have come out more and more since the Royals announced that they are going to be moving in the dimensions of Kauffman Stadium. Now, dead center field, the fountains, that's going to stay the same, right? 410 feet. Left center field and left field are each coming in 9 feet. Right center field is coming in 10 feet. Right field, 9 feet. They're also going to lower the height of the wall at Kauffman Stadium from 10 feet to 8.5. And the numbers are staggering. I mean, suggestions being made statistically that had this been the case this past year in 2025 for the Royals, Vinny Pasquantino would have surpassed 40 home runs. Salvador Perez may have approached the 40 home run mark, and Bobby Witt Jr. could have approached nearly 40 himself. Closer to 35, they say. Now, there are some internal projections for the Royals that moving in the fences averages about 1.5 more wins for the Royals in 2026. How? Well, the guys have, the statistics behind this study are pretty staggering. So last year, the Royals pitching staff gave up a soft contact rate of 17.3%, which was the best in baseball last year. They gave up a hard contact rate of 31.7%, which was the 7th lowest in the league. So, yes, and this was a conversation we had on Tuesday because people pointed out, rightfully so, well, yeah, the Royals are going to hit more home runs, but so are their opponents. And you're exactly right. Here's the thing. The Royals, this will be a greater advantage to them. Number one, because they've got a lot of guys on their team that have good pop and some that, exhibit some warning track power. They said Maikel Garcia could have approached close to 20 home runs last year had these dimensions been the same this year this past season as they are going to be this year. So the amount of home runs the Royals are going to add to their total statistically in past years, right, based on the numbers that they've put together, would have outweighed what their opponents have hit over the last 4 or 5 seasons and should continue to do so. And a big part of that is because the Royals pitching staff is so good at not giving up hard contact and not giving up home runs. The Royals are exceptionally good at not giving up the long ball, especially at Kauffman Stadium. JJ Piccolo said when we looked at similar ballparks with our current pitching staff, the results are still very good in what would be similar to the new Kauffman Stadium dimensions. The group that we have right now in a small window where this stadium is still going to be in existence, we had a chance to capitalize. Ben Clemens at Fangraphs suggests how much this might impact the players on the team, right? He pointed out that this move could certainly help a player like Bobby Witt Jr. They said that Maikel Garcia would have produced 5 more home runs last year with the new wall. Jonathan India would have hit 5 more home runs. Salvi would have hit at least 4 more home runs, and suggesting that Vinny and Bobby would have gone up by at least 3 home runs apiece from year to year. It's a lot more home runs for the Kansas City Royals, and a team that desperately needs more run support. No better way to get run support than by hitting the ball out of the yard. 913-586-7965 is our number. Let's talk some divisional round playoffs coming up next. Jordan Foote of Heavy Sports joins us here on After Hours. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds, -500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're ready to improve your health, but if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm going to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
This week sucks more than last week did.
How so?
Well, because last week it was wild card round. We were talking about the NFL, and we weren't talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. And that was unfortunate. But in fairness, there have been several times where we haven't talked about the Chiefs in the wild card round because they had the 1 seed and they had a bye and they weren't even playing in the wild card round to begin with. But now we're in the divisional round, and we're still not talking about the Chiefs because they never even made the playoffs. That's why, in my opinion, this week, as a Chiefs fan in 2025-26, it sucks more than the wild card round did.
That's fair.
We are going to talk about the divisional round, and we're going to talk about it with somebody we usually talk Chiefs with. We've got Jordan Foote of Heavy Sports on with us right now. Jordan, would you concur with that statement that this week, as Chiefs fans or as people who cover the Kansas City Chiefs, this particular week, the divisional round of the playoffs hurts a little bit more that the Chiefs aren't involved than wild card round did last week?
I think it is a little bit weird. That would be the word I'd use. Strange, like definitely an absence you're kind of feeling. And last week, I would argue, and I wish I could credit whoever said it. It was one of the national media folks on one of the talk shows I try not to tune into too much, but was walking by the television and heard it. I didn't think about the Lamar Jacksons of the world, Joe Burrows of the world, Patrick Mahomes of the world all weekend. And I think part of that is because the Chiefs don't play on Wild Card weekend. We're used to seeing them get that first-round bye when they had 2 of them, or even as the top seed. This weekend will be the big test. You're going to have Josh Allen in the playoffs. The Broncos are the 1 seed, which is incredibly weird. Houston and New England is just an awkward matchup given the past few years of those franchises. So it's different. It's strange for sure. And I do think that over the next few days, the Chiefs' absence is going to be felt a lot more than it was last weekend.
Yeah, and looking at the slate of NFL games for this weekend, 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday, an AFC, NFC game in each respect each day. Bills-Broncos is the first game of the divisional round, and Broncos, they have the bye. They've got home field advantage. You know, rust is obviously going to be a phrase thrown around with them all week this week. But the Bills, you know, while they did beat the Jaguars, it took everything they had in order to win that football game in a game where James Cook was fairly ineffective against Jacksonville.
Yeah, absolutely. That team, it's Josh Allen, and you would like to think James Cook 9 times out of 10, and a bunch of dudes. And I do think that Buffalo probably has enough, whether they actually do it or not, to get out of the AFC, because there's no perfect team in the conference. I do believe that whoever they run into in the Super Bowl, they would probably lose to, but first they have to get past the Denver team that is a really deserving 1 seed for how good their defense is. And Jacksonville was playing like a 1 seed for the back half of the year. They'd won 8-9 games in a row. Trevor Lawrence was playing out of his mind, kind of came back down to earth a little bit against Buffalo. But Logan, I'll tell you, this team is so darn banged up. Buffalo, the wide receiving core that was already bad. Now Gabe Davis blew his knee out. Tyrell Shavers is out for this game. I believe they might get Curtis Samuel back. He's been a full participant in practice this week, but still lacking a ton of weapons. James Cook is probably the best skill position player left in the playoffs, at least for the running back position. He's been awesome, but Jacksonville neutralized him. Denver's defense is nothing to scoff at, and are going on the road. So I don't trust the Bills' defense as far as I can throw it. I don't trust the Broncos' offense as far as I can throw it. So it's going to come down to maybe the quarterback, and that's why I have a weird gut feeling, even if the brain disagrees, that Buffalo might be able to figure it out.
And I know there's been a lot of hay made over the fact that Sean McDermott, whether you agree or disagree, could potentially be fired if this Bills team doesn't do what many think they should in a year where Mahomes and Burrow and Allen aren't in the AFC playoff picture. Is there still a scenario that exists in your mind, even after beating Jacksonville and avoiding a wild card loss, that if they lose to the Broncos, despite it being on the road and despite Denver being the 1 seed, that Sean McDermott could still get fired and the Bills could be looking for a new head coach?
Nah, I don't think so. And I have thoughts on Sean McDermott. I don't think he's a fantastic coach. I do think that in the long run they can probably do better. And for a guy that's had some success earlier on, and they've made the playoffs. This is like the 7th or 8th year in a row, 10-6, 11 wins, 13, 11, 13. Like, this has been a very, very good team for quite a while. They had the down year in 2018. The year before that, I think it was Tyrod, and they made the playoffs and got bounced early. So it isn't necessarily their fault that they've been getting jettisoned from the playoffs. A few times they've just run into the buzzsaw that is Patrick Mahomes and occasionally the Kansas City Chiefs along with him. So Sean McDermott doesn't necessarily deserve to lose his job. I do think he is a solid coach, but if they would have lost to Jacksonville, there'd be some merit to it. But this team, considering all the injuries they have, considering how underwhelming the wide receiving core is, the defense being up and down, he's earned himself the 2026 season, I think, and then maybe they reevaluate after that.
Looking at the other games Saturday, 49ers, Seahawks, a nice little NFC West matchup in the divisional round. 49ers, the last month or so have looked really, really good, but of course they lose George Kittle in that wild card game to the Achilles tear. But on the other side, Seahawks now, Adam Schefter's reporting that Sam Darnold is expecting to play against the Niners coming up in a couple of days, but is there any concern for Seattle, despite being at home, that your quarterback might be a little hobbled for this matchup?
I don't think so. I believe that until we find out something coming soon, and again, that game being on Saturday does leave it to interpretation because you're going to have the off day. You're not going to get a ton of updates on the injury report. So it being at home, not having to travel, having the around-the-clock treatment, I think that the way it was described is he just kind of pulled up a little bit at practice and said, okay, let's do some rehab instead of fully finishing this thing out. So he's going to gut it out. Now, do I trust Sam Darnold even if he's 1,000% to get the job done and clinch a spot in the NFC title game? Not necessarily. He is luckily running into a San Fran team that their defense has been down in the dumps for a big part of the year. They're not getting Fred Warner back for this game, maybe the next one if they do advance. They can throw the ball well. They create explosive plays. They can run the ball fairly effectively. And then the defense is just fantastic in Seattle, whether it's through the air, on the ground, situationally. They're fantastic. They're well coached. So as much as I think that I would take certain players on San Fran, and I think they have the better coach, I don't really love either of these quarterbacks. I do like kind of the moxie that Brock Purdy plays with, but on the road against just the buzzsaw that is Seattle, I believe they're probably going to figure it out, but because it's Sam Darnold, I have to leave the door open for some crazy stuff to happen.
So that takes us to the Sunday games. The first is Texans-Patriots. Now, maybe the biggest storyline is that there could be some snow in the forecast in Foxborough, and if there's one thing we know about the snow in the National Football League, it is that defense always plays well in the snow. Is this a game that, because of how good Houston's defense is historically, that a snow game would favor the Texans, or would it possibly favor New England more in that situation?
I'm not sure it's necessarily going to completely favor them, and Nico Collins, with the concussion still being a non-participant for the first 2 practices of the week, is worrisome for sure. That is something they're going to have to monitor, and a limited offense that C.J. Stroud has been up and down and had his lack of health throughout the year himself. The run game is up and down, to say the least. That offense will need to kind of compete with the New England defense that I would describe them as just decent. They're not anything crazy, but they are very respectable defense. But again, like you said, in the snow, this defense is already good enough, and they can lock you down in man coverage. They're going to throw their scheme at you and not vary from what they do. They're good against the run. They're absolutely locked down against the pass. They have a great pass rush. The front seven is great. So I could see New England. It's a double-edged sword, right? They could neutralize what Houston likes to do by saying, okay, we're going to go for short passes. We're going to break tendency a little bit. We're going to lean into running the ball and taking the ball out of Drake May's hands, which wouldn't be my desired path, but is possible. But then again, in the snow, you're taking away the thing you're probably best at, and that's Drake May being a historical outlier this year with passes deep down the field. Stephon Diggs being a route technician even at the ripe old age of past 30 and post-ACL injury. So I do think that it does help Houston, and they're going to need it because of how kind of up and down, wishy-washy their offense is. But New England, this is another tough game to predict, and it's simultaneously a blessing and a curse, but this playoffs is fun, and you feel like each matchup, you never know what's going to happen. But for people like us who try to be definitive about things, it's also a really crazy exercise in you don't trust anyone as far as you can throw them.
And that takes us to the final game of the weekend, that 5:30 kickoff on NBC and Peacock. Rams against the Bears. Chicago hosting this one at Soldier Field. Another game is going to be incredibly chilly. The Rams, who are used to playing in the nice, friendly confines of SoFi, that temperature-controlled dome, they're going to have to deal with the wind and the cold of Chicago in the middle of January. What do you make of this game between the Bears and the Rams, two teams that kind of do things a little bit differently than one another? You know, the Rams are so efficient offensively, run and pass. The Bears rely a lot more heavily on Caleb Williams and a little bit more of a outside-the-box schematics-wise with Ben Johnson as their head coach.
Yeah, outside the box is a perfect way to put it, and I've used the word and heard the word said and seen it online, gimmicky. Like the Bears, nothing about this team screams NFC Championship caliber. Washington last year, they kind of give off that vibe of the exciting young quarterback, but a team that is clearly flawed and isn't a top four contender in the NFL. But in a single elimination format, that favors them to have the quarterback who can make any throw, the never die attitude of that entire team, the head coach who isn't scared to go for it on fourth downs, the defense that can maybe catch lightning in a bottle. And you hit the nail on the head with the weather report, Logan. It's going to be like a 15 to 20 mile an hour wind. It's already going to be less than 20 degrees, so you're talking maybe even a 0 or negative wind chill. Matt Stafford with the sprained finger, that's going to be tough to see how he can throw the ball, maybe resisting a little bit. So the Rams offense, clearly top 5 in the league. They can do so many things with the run game, the pass game. Devontae Adams is back. Puka Nacua is awesome. They vary their personnel with the tight ends very well. The defense has slipped a little bit, but still better than Chicago's. But for whatever reason, and I've been one of the biggest Bears detractors throughout the year, I think if you play this game 10 times, the Rams win probably 8 of them. But because it's only one game, I'm not discounting Chicago, especially in their home field, so I'll pick the Rams to do it, but I don't feel too strong in that answer.
All right, so you're giving me the Rams for that game. Let's run it down in total. I'm not going to make you throw out a Super Bowl champion prediction or anything like that, but if you're looking at AFC, NFC championship games based on these 4 matchups, Rams against who in the NFC title game, and on the AFC side, who you got?
Oh, man, I think it's going to be Rams in Seattle. I have a weird feeling that San Fran could get a little bit lucky and keep this going, but I'll stick the flag with Seattle. And then I'm going to go Buffalo in a very weird game that kind of embodies the Chiefs a little bit against Denver. And then I'll go New England, even though Houston, that defense is hard to bet against. I just have a feeling that Drake May has a little bit of that MVP magic left.
All right, I like it. You're splitting 2-2 in terms of home versus road teams coming up this week, and that's kind of the beauty and the curse of the NFL playoffs. Jordan, appreciate you taking the time tonight, my man. Appreciate you moving around a little bit this week, and even today, I gave you the wrong time about when the show was starting. I appreciate you being flexible, my man.
Likewise, buddy. We'll have to get some NBA talk next time.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that. We need it. I at least, maybe not we need it. I need it. That was Jordan Foote of Heavy Sports joining us. He's been a longtime writer, reporter for the Kansas City Chiefs, talking a little playoffs. And I have to say, I am in complete agreement with him on the AFC-NFC thing. I've got Bills-Pats in the AFC title game. Nice little AFC East matchup. And then on the NFC side, it's Rams-Seahawks, 2 NFC West teams. So the entire league is being controlled by 2 divisions, apparently, in the NFL this year. I definitely expected that from the NFC West. I really thought it would be more like Rams-Niners on the NFC side of things, but with all their injuries there in San Francisco, I got to say I didn't expect Patriots. I mean, we're gonna be in the year 2026. Tom Brady has long since been removed from the NFL picture, and in this scenario, the New England Patriots would be hosting an AFC Championship game again.
Blah. That's all I have for you. Blah.
Oh, but we were tired of watching the Chiefs win. Look what you did.
I feel dirty now.
Look what you did. I'm just waiting for Jacob Mustard, one of our producers here, who's a big Patriots fan, to just start lighting me up on the text line. That's what I'm anticipating. 913-586-7965 is our number. Some college basketball conversation, some college football that I want to get to, because we make a lot of hay. You know, we complain a lot about transfer portal and the NIL and today's day and age of college athletics. But I think we're seeing a little bit more of the positive side of those things with what's happened over the last couple of days. I want to discuss that here on After Hours. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Start the new year by moving, not hurting. If joint pain's holding you back, then listen up. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. QC Kinetics delivers regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, your back, wherever it hurts. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Skip the 3 to 6 months of recovery. Skip the pain. Skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving stronger and better and planning the year you want. Game-changing regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it with QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
When winter's chill hits, trust Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. For a limited time, get up to $2,000 in instant savings on a new HVAC system from Hamilton. Our pros offer expert installation, flexible financing, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. But don't wait. This is a limited time offer. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here we go. We got a list of some players being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame really quickly before we hit the top of the hour. Mark Ingram, former University of Alabama running back, standout for years with the Crimson Tide. In fact, here's a crazy thing. As good as Alabama has been historically, right, dating back to the days of Bear Bryant and all the national championships he won there, Mark Ingram was the first Alabama player to win the Heisman Trophy.
That's shocking.
Something
honestly.
I did not realize.
Yeah.
I would have figured they would have had a couple in the 60s and 70s with the days of Bear Bryant, but apparently not. Ndamukong Suh, absolute superstar player at the University of Nebraska, which I hate saying. I also hate admitting that
Unstoppable, man.
he probably should have won the Heisman Trophy.
Agreed.
The year that he was a finalist.
I agree.
He was the best player in college
stiffed,
football
100%.
by a wide margin that year. Speaking of standout defensive lineman, Aaron Donald, All-American at Pitt, got drafted by the Rams, and is arguably the best interior defensive lineman in the history of the game of football. All three of those guys highlighted in the 2026 College Football Hall of Fame class, which was announced yesterday. 4 coaches being inducted as well. Gary Patterson, who had years and years of success at TCU. Chris Peterson, who had great success at Boise State and at Washington. The class includes 6 consensus first-team All-Americans, 4 multi-year first-team All-Americans, and 8 major award winners. Other offensive players, Peter Warrick, who was an All-American at Florida State. Marvin Harrison, who, unlike his son, actually, he played at Syracuse, where he was an All-American before becoming a phenomenal player. Hey, man, I think the jury's still out on Marvin Harrison Jr.
We'll take him.
That's what I'm saying. 3rd-round pick?
Yeah. Why not? Absolutely.
Take a 3rd-round pick, send it to Arizona for Marvin Harrison Jr. Who says no?
Arizona.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Wishful thinking, but, why not take a flyer on it? Just kick the tires a little bit. What do we think? A couple of other players, Kajana Carter out of Penn State, didn't have much of an NFL career.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Dog at Penn State, dude. I think he was a top 5 pick, if I remember correctly. Just didn't pan out in the league. Allen Kreutz, Washington, before he became a Hall of Fame level football player in the NFL with the Bears. James Laurinaitis, Ohio State. He kind of like rose up at Ohio State right around the time that I started to become like a cognizant human being. Like I was a conscious observer of the world by that point. And I can remember watching James Laurinaitis play his days at Ohio State.
What a name, by the way,
dude.
right? That last name is just, he was born for glory,
tough.
right?
Yeah. Eric Weddle.
All right.
And how about this one? A little bit of local flavor. Terrence Newman, former K-State Wildcat, is being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. John Margroff of Johns Hopkins is being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. I didn't know Johns Hopkins had football. And Ken Sparks of Carson Newman. That's a Division II school for those that didn't know.
No clue who that is.
Also being inducted into the class. So there's a longer list than that.
Class, though.
Just some of the notables I wanted to throw out. After Hours continues next here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. We're going to get to some college basketball, a little bit more college football news, because I want to talk about the CFP National Championship game Monday, Indiana, Miami, because I think that if Indiana wins this game on Monday, especially if they do it in dominant fashion, we are going to have a serious conversation about them being the greatest college football team that ever existed. That's next. 913-586-7965 is our number. After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. Now through February 1st, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. And in the postseason, the game shifts fast. With DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Plus, DraftKings has your back with early exit protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash. With DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why bet player props anywhere else? And new customers, this is your shot. Bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
The Chiefs Off-Season Show, Tuesday, February 10th at 9 a.m. on 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
You know, I'm not a Mizzou fan. I'm not a KU fan. I'm not a K-State fan. Anybody who knows me, anybody who's listened to this program over the last year and change, knows that I am an Iowa fan. Okay, I don't like KU. I don't like Mizzou. I don't like K-State. I don't dislike any of those 3 schools either. I say that to say that this next segment is going to make me not much of a fan to the K-State fan base. They are not going to like me very much.
I don't know.
Because these next couple of stories do not endear me to the Wildcat faithful in Manhattan, I assure you.
They might be on the same page as you.
Maybe.
At this point.
Don't forget, guys, that before Bill Snyder was hired at K-State, he was the defensive coordinator at the University of Iowa. Don't ever forget that. I just want to point that out.
Or do forget it.
We have a connection between us, all right? You guys love Bill Snyder, we love Bill Snyder. Don't forget that that's a thing. That's all I'm saying.
Greasing them up? Is that what we're doing here?
I'm trying my best. I'm really trying to grease some palms right now because I feel like the next 10 minutes are not going to make me look very good in the eyes of K-State fans.
Let's hear it.
Let's begin with and these are just reports. Nothing is confirmed. Nothing has been absolutely 100% clarified. But the rumors are swirling right now that there is a mutual interest between the University of Kansas and a former Kansas State running back by the name of Dylan Edwards. In fact, some people online have gone so far as to say they've heard from multiple sources that Dylan Edwards has committed to Kansas already.
Yeah. Hey.
So that is a former Kansas State running back. Mind you, also a former Colorado running back, as he makes his rounds through the Big 12, apparently, who is reportedly either considering or is already committed to the University of Kansas.
You could have pandered to the KU audience, and just
here's the thing.
My night.
Here's how I found out. My brother FaceTimed me before the show and says, I'm reading that the Kansas might be getting Dylan Edwards. And I'm like, okay, let me do some digging. Let me try to find some things. And I'm seeing the same stuff that he's seeing. So I'm not saying it's a done deal by any means. I'm just saying that a little bit of like a where there's smoke, there's fire thing, that it does appear like KU and Dylan Edwards, there is some mutual interest there and that he could commit there if he hasn't already.
I see why you did a little bit of prefacing there. Good for you. I like it. Thank you for that. You just made my night.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, and somebody in the text line says Dylan's a bum. No, he's not.
It's a bit of a slap in the face to K-State. I'm not going to lie.
We've all got eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Dylan Edwards play football. I mean, he should have been more effective than he was last year. He dealt with the injury issues and then he left the team. But for his career, he averages 6 yards a carry. For his career. And that includes his freshman year at Colorado, where he averaged 4 yards a carry. Averaged 7.4 yards per carry 2 years ago in 2024 with the Wildcats. And last year, albeit on only 34 carries, he averaged 6 yards per touch, 2 touchdowns on those 34 carries. Dylan Edwards is a good football player. Is he undersized? Absolutely. We'll see where it goes. I don't know. Just feel like that's just going to add fuel to the fire of the KU-K-State rivalry, if that is true. Now, to the second story. And this is one that I feel like people might be a little bit less upset with me. Okay, there might be a little less anger towards what I'm about to say. All right? Yesterday, K-State at home, hosting UCF. Wildcats lose 82-73. Now, UCF is not a bad loss. This Knights team is 14-2. They're 3-1 in the Big 12. They already beat Kansas, should we all forget. They beat KU already this year. They did it at home. They had to go on the road to beat K-State last night. 82-73 was the final score. Here's the bigger issue, okay? I'm not saying this because they lost to UCF last night. I'm saying this because it is a small indicator of a larger problem. This K-State basketball team is not good. Not only are they not good, they're not average. They are a bad basketball team. K-State is 9-8 right now. 9-8. Their 9 wins, the best one is Creighton. They beat UNC Greensboro, Bellarmine, Cal, Tulsa. They beat Mississippi State by 20. Mississippi State's a bottom feeder in the SEC. They beat Mississippi Valley State, Creighton, who I mentioned, South Dakota, and Louisiana Monroe. They are 0-4 in the Big 12 right now. They and Utah are the only two teams in this league that have yet to win a conference game. I don't know if it's a mid-season firing necessarily, but this is the last year that we will see Jerome Tang coaching at Kansas State. I'll say that point blank right now. That is my belief. Jerome Tang will not be coaching in Manhattan, Kansas next year.
The problem is the Big 12 is a murderer's row this year. So, I mean, looking at this squad and the way they've played thus far, they're lucky if they can win more than, 4-5 games at most? If that?
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, right? They've run the gambit here in the first 4 games. I mean, you had to play BYU at home to open up Big 12 play. That sucks. What's your consolation prize for losing that game by 10? You got to go on the road and play the number 1 team in the country in Arizona, where you lose by 25. You then go on the road and you play Arizona State. Arizona State, who was also winless in the Big 12 at that point, you lose by 3 on the road. Arizona State's 1-3 in the league right now. And then you get UCF at home. So it's hard to fault K-State when you look at their 4 opponents that they've played so far in the conference. Arizona, who's undefeated in league play, 4-0. Same with BYU at 4-0, UCF 3-1, and then you've got Arizona State at 1-3. 12-4 is the combined record of the 4 teams in the Big 12 you've played already. That's fair to point out that they have played a difficult schedule. But you got to go on the road and play Oklahoma State next. Oklahoma State, they're 13-4, but they're 1-3 in the Big 12 so far this year. Utah, the only other winless team in the Big 12 right now, is next up. They've got them at home on January 20th. Then they got to play KU at home. KU, who is fresh off of a marquee win this year, going to Ames and blowing out Iowa State. It just feels like this is it. You know, I have to imagine that's the way it is, right? Like, and maybe this is a poor comparison, but I'm just thinking about local ties. This feels a lot to me this year for K-State. Reminds me a lot of the last year of Kim Anderson at Mizzou. Where it just like, he was a really nice guy. He cleaned the program up, right? Because Mizzou, it just felt like every coach Mizzou was hiring, one after the other. From Quinn Snyder to Mike Anderson to Frank Haith. These guys were getting in trouble with the NCAA every single year. And then they brought in Kim Anderson. And he was a great guy. He cleaned up the program, but they were bad. That's kind of what this feels like at K-State, right? Tang is a really good guy, right? I don't think the fans have any problem with him personally. It's just they're not very good. They were spectacular in his first season there in Manhattan. It wowed everybody with the year that they had that first season. But since then, it just hasn't clicked. 26-10 in year 1. You went 19-15 2 seasons ago. Last year, they go 16-17. And so far this year, you're 9-8, and you haven't won a Big 12 game yet. I just don't know how much longer K-State fans will be able to hang on to it. And you're absolutely right. Someone in the text line pointed out, Iowa State lost to KU in Lawrence. That was at Allen Fieldhouse. I apologize. I said it was on the road. That is not true. That KU was at home in that game. Still killed them. I mean, still absolutely blew out the Iowa State Cyclones in that game. And maybe the most impressive part of the whole thing, that game on Tuesday, was that Darren Peterson didn't have to be a world beater to do it, right? I mean, Peterson only finished with 16 points in the game on a very inefficient 15 shots. He can score from anywhere. The problem is it seems like he has to have 2 or 3 tries to do it. He's not doing it very efficiently right now. He's using the James Harden method of just chuck and duck to score points. Trey White, though, was really good on Tuesday. 19 in the game. He finished 5 of 7 from the three-point line, and I believe most, if not all of that, came in the first half. Melvin Council was really good from behind the arc as well. And the whole team, for the most part, was. I mean, KU's 50% from deep in that game, and that includes Darren Peterson going 2 for 7. I'm not saying he played a bad game. He did some good things, especially defensively. He made life pretty hard on some of the guards that Iowa State has, like Taman Lipsey, 4 of 15 shooting. He was just more of a hindrance than a help on the offensive side of the basketball. But that was huge, huge for Kansas because they were on a bit of a snide there, right? They lost on the road to UCF. They had to go to overtime to beat TCU. Then you lost to West Virginia by double digits on the road. To come back home and dominate Iowa State on Tuesday, it sets up a huge game, I think, on Friday against Baylor, where you have to prove that Tuesday wasn't a fluke. This team can score. I think Kansas's biggest problem is that if they can't defend, they're going to be stuck in a shootout. And I don't think that's where KU wants to be. That's not how Bill Self has ever been as the head coach at Kansas. He does not want his guys winning games 90-85. He'd rather win a game 75-70. Play good defense, and they did exactly that on Tuesday. 913-586-7965 is our number. Somebody in the text line said he hasn't seen that. This person says they haven't seen a full team effort like that from the Jayhawks since probably the COVID team. I would defensively, I would kind of agree with that. The sense of urgency that KU played with in that game on Tuesday, I hadn't seen all year, outside of maybe the Duke game. I felt like in the Duke game, there was a sense of urgency there, but they were hamstrung because they didn't have Darren Peterson. No pun intended, I might add. But getting Peterson back, it takes some pressure off the other guys, and it didn't hurt them, right? Like Badunga could still go out and try to get his a little bit. Trey White could go out and try to get his a little bit. Melvin Council, who I like Melvin Council. I think he's a great athlete, good perimeter defender. And when he scores, when he's playing well offensively, he's an all Big 12 player at the University of Kansas. I just think Melvin Council has a tendency to force the issue a little bit at times where like he feels like he should shoot the ball 15 times a game. I don't necessarily. I think Melvin Council should sit somewhere comfortably between like 8 to 10 shots on a nightly basis. This Kansas team still has everything they want out in front of them. That win on Tuesday was huge for them to get to 500 early in the Big 12 slate at 2-2 and not fall to 1-3 and put yourself in the back half of the league already when you look at the top of the heap and you see a 16-1 Houston, a 16-1 BYU, and an undefeated Arizona who are all 4-0 in the Big 12 thus far. After hours, 96.5, The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. I promise I will not inadvertently dog on K-State anymore. That was not my intention. I just felt like college football to college basketball, it seemed like a pretty, easy thing to transition myself into. I do want to get back to some college football conversation because there are some interesting storylines surrounding the transfer portal and, of course, the national championship game coming up Monday between Miami and Indiana. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life. Because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
The football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all of the gridiron action. Right now, you can make entries and win money in Missouri. And playing on Underdog is so easy. Just choose if your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats, like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. And I love playing on the Underdog app. Not only do I like football, but I love basketball and hockey as well. I can mix and match selections from each sport into one entry to see what I do. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code BOB to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BOB. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 and over and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Hey, it's Josh Vern. You're in before I head out to Arizona to see the boys in blue in spring training. I'll be hosting the Royals Rally Show live from Kauffman Stadium on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. The biggest names in the organization will join me for exclusive one-on-one interviews as they get ready for the 2026 season. If you miss any of the show, it'll all be available afterwards on the All Things Vern podcast channel. The Royals Rally Show, Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9, right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
It feels like no matter which side of the fence you sit on when it comes to the transfer portal and NIL, people have very strong opinions about it, right? I myself sit on the side of being very pro-transfer portal, pro-NIL. Yes, I believe there need to be some level of guardrails in place. I think we're starting to see a little bit more of that, right? These guys entering into contracts, re-signing with teams. There being multi-year ramifications for these deals when guys commit rather than the national letter of intent, the NIL that we were so accustomed to in the past. Everybody that's on the other side of it sees so many negatives regarding the transfer portal, right? I mean, I saw some guy, I think he's a quarterback, who is about to get his 6th year of eligibility in college football at 6 different schools. That's an egregious level.
It's a little absurd.
That we're doing
Agreed.
too much, okay? But one of the things that I've enjoyed the most in regards to the NIL side of things is, I mean, think back to 5 years ago. Think back to 10 years ago. When you saw a guy who was a redshirt sophomore or a true junior, right, that 3 years removed from high school or 21 years of age, and that guy gets that first-round grade or a second-round grade, it was a foregone conclusion. They're gone. But in the last 2 days, I feel like NIL has played a massive part in 2 marquee names for this year's NFL draft electing to stay in school. I mean, let's begin with the announcement from yesterday that Dante Moore is going back to Oregon. Dante Moore, who many have pegged as the number 2 overall pick in the draft as of right now. People had it as a foregone conclusion. Oh, Dante Moore is going to be a New York Jet. Book it.
That's why he didn't.
Yeah, fair point.
That's why he didn't. I don't blame him.
I mean, it's certainly a huge part
Smart
of why
choice.
he didn't.
Come on, that's a smart choice.
But also, if NIL wasn't in existence, what would Dante Moore have done? Dante Moore would have been a New York Jet in April if NIL was not a factor. No doubt, if we would have still resided in a world where name, image, and likeness was not law, where this guy was going to go back to Oregon next year for $0, he'd be a New York Jet.
I love that for him. Think about how many potential quarterbacks going forward whose careers may potentially be saved by skipping a draft or two to not be drafted by teams and organizations like the Jets and may actually have a chance in the league getting drafted by a better organization. I'm all for it, man. Good for them.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. Today, we find out John Mateer, quarterback at Oklahoma, is himself going to be returning to college for the 2026 season. Now, would John Mateer have been a first-round pick? No. But, I mean, Mel Kiper Jr. had him as the number 6 draft-eligible quarterback in this class. That's, I mean, is it maybe too presumptuous to say a third-round pick? 6th best quarterback in the draft class?
Borderline.
A third-round pick, potentially?
Between 3rd and 5th, probably.
10 years ago, if a guy gets a third-round grade, what are the chances he goes back to school for another year?
Right.
Probably not very high. But NIL is completely changing the framework of these things, where guys are going back to school for another year. The NFL is not necessarily just, I should say, on flipping it around, college football is maybe becoming less of the minor leagues of the NFL that it was even 10 years ago. Yes, it still is, duh. But it's not just a situation where, this guy had one really good year, he's gone. That's just it. That's just the way it is now, right? It's he's going to opt out of the bowl game and poof, he's disappeared. NIL and the transfer portal is changing a little bit of that. Is it exactly the same? No, it's never going to be the same again. Adapt or die, ladies and gentlemen. Adapt or die.
I love it.
I kind of like it,
I
too.
mean, look, some of these, especially for players like that, right, that are going to get drafted in some of those later rounds, they absolutely will make, instead of making a couple $100,000 a year playing in the NFL as a backup and hoping to make a roster, they're going to get paid way more starting at some second-tier college program than going into the NFL. I mean, why wouldn't they stay?
Yeah,
good for them. It sucks. It does suck for the Chiefs a little bit because, looking at the draft this year, like the Jets now, instead of taking a quarterback, are going to take a position player that potentially bumps down, who the Chiefs would have drafted. So that does kind of suck for us, but good for the players, man.
Yeah, fair point, right? That's the one thing that we here in Kansas City are now looking at, right? Somebody in the text line brings that up, right? Of course, the 1 year that we're drafting in the top 10, a guy who was a consensus top 10 pick is now gone. And so how does that change the draft order? Well, Fernando Mendoza is still going to go number 1 overall, but is that a foregone conclusion? Like, if Indiana, whether they win or lose on Monday, Fernando Mendoza appears to me like the kind of guy that would just go back to school for another year. Like a Tim Tebow sort of a move of like, I won a national championship, but I want to go back and try to do it again. Like, that just sort of feels like something that Fernando Mendoza would do. So is it a foregone conclusion that he's going to be entering the draft? I still lean towards it because he's going to be the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. There's nowhere to go but up for him. But not to change the subject, but what does that mean for this will matter for some of the locals here, but didn't Dylan Raiola, didn't he commit to Oregon?
Yes.
So Is he
He's
now jumping
comfortable
back into the portal?
No, he's comfortable redshirting. He is going to because he started as a true freshman at Nebraska, so he still has his redshirt
he's
year
gonna be
available.
another 6 years of eligibility guy.
He is going to redshirt this year and be the starting quarterback at Oregon in
Probably
2027
a move on his
as a redshirt junior. It's a weird situation.
That's weird, though.
I don't
agreed.
understand it at all. Like, you're starting at a school in the Big Ten. You're going to transfer to another school in the Big Ten and redshirt.
Yep.
After starting for 2 years at this Big Ten school. I just, it's a bizarre story, but I digress. And
it's not a move Patrick Mahomes would have done.
He's a Nebraska, he's transferring from Nebraska. I'm not going to shed no tears over it. That's just me. But it's interesting, how it changes the draft for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? NBC Sports has already updated its mock draft. Mendoza's still going number 1. They now have Carnell Tate going 2nd overall, although it's a much more likely scenario now that the Jets could trade back in this draft. If there's not, there's no other quarterback in this class that you can justify taking 2nd overall. So you're either going to take best player available or trade back. They got the Cardinals taking Muyaga from Miami 3rd. NBC has the Titans drafting Jeremiah Love with the 4th overall pick.
That's a reach.
Are you out of your mind?
That's insane.
Drafting Jeremiah Love in the teens is ridiculous to me.
Agreed.
Caleb Downs, 5th overall to the Giants. Jordan Tyson of Arizona State going 6th to the Cleveland Browns. Reuben Baines, 7th to the Commanders. David Bailey, 8th to the Saints. And the Chiefs drafting Peter Woods with the 9th overall pick out of Clemson. Don't do that to me, Julio.
Doesn't make me.
I like him. I love him as a prospect.
Tickle me.
I think Peter Woods could be so good as a gap eater in the interior to pair next to Chris Jones. And maybe even if he has a good rookie year, you could consider using that opt-out after next year on Chris Jones's contract that's up over $30+ million if he continues to regress. I like the idea of Peter Woods. The one name I keep hearing a lot, and they have the Bengals taking him 10th overall, and why they would do it back-to-back years, I don't understand. NBC Sports has Keldrick Falk from Auburn going 10th overall to the Bengals. No shot. After you drafted Shamar Stewart last year in the 1st round, a guy who had, 1.5 sacks at Texas A&M, Falk is in the same boat. He played in 12 games last year. He had 2 sacks.
Please do that.
2 sacks. It started all 12 games for Auburn. 2 sacks. That guy's going to be a top 10 pick.
That would be a very Bengals move.
I'm seeing a lot of
my tonsils.
I'm seeing a lot of Chiefs people that are like, the Chiefs should take a look at Keldrick Falk. They should draft him 10th overall. I'm sorry. I'm taking productivity over prospect with the 9th overall pick. I'm sorry. You want to take a prospect in the 2nd round?
A top 10 pick you do not use on a hope.
He's got an extremely high ceiling, but an extremely low floor.
Correct. That's not where you pick projects.
I'm sorry. I'd rather take high floor, lower ceiling than lower floor, higher ceiling.
Correct.
That's just where I'm at with the 9th overall pick. 913-586-7965 is our number. We may look at the text line here a little bit when we come back. Got lots of messages about that one. After Hours, Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds, -500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements: more energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, girl.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Nine 913-586-7965 is our number. Talking about both Dante Moore and John Mateer returning to their respective schools for next year, spurning the NFL draft this upcoming April. For a couple of guys that, Dante Moore would have probably been the second overall pick to the Jets had he declared and been in the draft pool in April. Mateer, Kuiper had him as like the 6th best quarterback in this class. I thought Todd McShay had him somewhere in that range as well, 6 or 7. Damn it. I didn't do that on purpose. Ignore that.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
Ignore that.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
Just act as if it didn't happen, all right? Selective amnesia, folks.
Jeez.
And, of course, right, the biggest thing that's being brought up right now via the text line is that, right, yeah. Of course, Dante Moore, a guy who would have been a consensus top 5 pick, decides he's going to go back to college in a year where the Chiefs have the 9th overall pick, and now the likelihood of one of their guys, that they really like is taken off the board a little bit early. Absolutely right. Somebody talking about Dylan Raiola, who transferred to Oregon. Dante Moore announces he's going back to Oregon. Raiola says, I'm cool just redshirting. I'm not going to enter the portal again. Which, in fairness, how could you? The portal closes tomorrow. But somebody said Raiola wants to be like Mahomes again and sit out a year. Mahomes did redshirt.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
Mahomes did it as a freshman, though.
Yeah.
And Raiola's doing it as a junior, I guess. Somebody else says, why not? If you can get a year of NIL money and not have to play. Right.
To ride the bench? Yeah. Oh, my gosh, yeah.
He's the backup quarterback, right? He's the back. He's Chase Daniel for a year.
Yeah.
Right? How much money did Chase Daniel... Look at how much money Kirk Cousins is making in Atlanta right now to not play.
Stupid money.
Why not? Yeah. Somebody said, I don't disagree at all. Go back to college and make money one more year, but I don't think they're going to end up on any better team because of it. And that's fair, right? Dante Moore may go back to school for another year, and then he may go out and win the Heisman Trophy next season at Oregon.
And the Jets,
will be the worst team in football.
And then he has no choice.
Because they can't find it because they don't have a quarterback. They're going to who the hell knows who they're going to I can't imagine they're going with Justin Fields again, not after Woody Johnson raked him over the coals publicly. So they're probably going to be the worst team in football next year. So watch Dante Moore go out and win the Heisman. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. And who's sitting there at number 1? It's the New York Jets. It's like,
It's when you pull an Eli, you know?
It's, what's that Thanos quote from You could not live with your own failure. And where did that bring you?
That's
Back
solid.
to me.
That is a solid pull, my friend.
That's the Jets, man. That's
Solid.
just, hey, you can run, but you cannot hide from us, buddy. You're going to be a New York
We're going
Jet.
to find you. We're going to ruin your career.
That's what they've done to everybody else for 50 years. Good God. That's a fair point, man. Who has drafted in the top 10 the most on average for the last 10 years? Is it the Jets?
I wouldn't be surprised. The Browns are up there. Although they traded away most of their first-round picks for Deshaun Watson the last handful of years, correct? So
yeah, I mean, so since 2016, just looking at just going back to the 2016 draft history, I feel like the Jacksonville's probably in that category.
They've had some decent runs.
The Browns, obviously, the Lions. I mean, prior to the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair.
God, I couldn't
Panthers,
tell you.
Yeah, they had that Cam run for a while, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what was that? That was 2015 when they went to that Super Bowl. I mean, since 2016, the Cleveland Browns have picked number 1 overall twice. Jacksonville has picked number 1 overall twice. Everybody else has been just once. The Rams took Jared Goff back in 2016. The Cardinals took Kyler Murray. The Cardinals. That's probably another team that is in contention for having the most number of top 10 picks in the last decade. The Bears. It could be any number of teams, but it's the same, right? It's all those teams we just mentioned, right? It's the same cast of characters.
Yes, correct.
The Browns, the
Different order.
Jags, which is wild. I mean, back-to-back years, they picked number 1 overall, 2021 and 2022. And they've made the playoffs twice in the last 5 years also. Like, how do you make the playoffs twice and pick number 1 overall twice in the same time? How does that really work? And you didn't necessarily hit a home run with either one of your picks at number 1 overall either, I might add. I mean, they picked Trayvon Walker, number 1 overall, back in 2022. And he had 3.5 sacks this year. He did have back-to-back double-digit sack seasons the last 2 years prior, but I don't know, man. It's a weird year. It's an absolutely bizarre year. Dan in KCK says Mike Tomlin might go to CBS or Fox next year. If Aaron Glenn struggles, do you see the Jets letting him go in 2027?
They should have let him go this year, quite honestly.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the one thing he had under his belt was him being a defensive guy, and their defense this year was terrible.
I mean, it didn't help that they traded away the entire defense either.
Not at the beginning of the season.
True.
That was halfway through the season, so.
That's true. But, I mean, you can't fault – I can't throw all the fault on a guy who watches CJ, or watches Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams both leave the building. And, it's like, how can I put a defense together if I don't have any guys that are of substance on defense? Dan in KCK also says the Royals win 93 games this year.
Ooh, I hope so. That seems plausible. It's plausible.
93, I think, wins the AL Central.
Yeah.
I think that wins you the division. I see them as closer to like a 90 or a 91 win team.
Yep.
And you might finish a game or a game and a half behind Detroit with the way that the roster is constructed right now. Now, that could change if they go out and they acquire a bat, if they go get a Brendan Donovan, if they find a way to get a Jarren Duran. Will that happen? I don't know. It's interesting, though. Somebody on social media was coming through some hypotheticals, some baseball page, and they said they suggested a mock trade proposal. Okay, so the Royals would get Jarren Duran, flat out. The Red Sox would get Chris Bubich, not Cole Reagans, I like that.
I like it.
They trade away Blake Mitchell. Okay, that hurts. He's the Royals' number 2 prospect, but Carter Jensen's right there. They have an international prospect who's already in their top 10, who's younger than Blake Mitchell is right now. They also suggest left-handed pitcher David Shields as a part of this deal as well. David Shields, of course, is the Royals' number 7 prospect right now. I believe Shields was he their first-round pick last year? Or maybe a second-round pick? He was the Royals' second-round pick in 2024. And he was good last year, I might add. In 18 starts in High A last year in Colorado, he went 3-1 with a 2.01 ERA. How he only got 4 decisions in 18 starts, I think may lend itself to some questions about the run support for the Royals High A team. But his numbers are insane. 81 strikeouts in 71 2/3 innings. He gave up 58 hits, struck out 81. He had a whip of 1.02. His Ks per 9, over 10. His hits per 9 innings, under 1. Or I should say, yeah. That's pretty incredible. I don't know. Giving up 2 top 10 prospects and Chris Bubich for Jarren Duran, especially a top 10 prospect, the best pitching prospect in your system right now at 19 years old. I'd rather see the Royals give up Bubich, Mitchell, and like Luinder Avila. 24 years old. He's sort of like right now with how good the Royals pitching staff is, more of a quadruple A guy right now. He may have a hard time breaking through. When you look at the Royals rotation currently, plus guys like Bergert waiting around in the wings. Listen, I think Jarren Duran could do a lot of good for this Royals team. Do I think there's some off-the-field stuff or maybe even some on-the-field stuff that you could be concerned about? Certainly. But giving up a guy who just appeared in an all-star game and 2 top 10 prospects for Jarren Duran?
It's a little steep.
It sounds like you're paying gold money for a silver product to me, a little bit. Bubich for Mitchell straight up feels like the Royals are getting the better end of that deal. Make it a little bit more even by throwing in a middling prospect, a Luinder Avila, a Michael Lombardi, potentially 22 years old, and he's still in rookie ball right now. You know, as a prospect, Blake Walters maybe. Not 2 top 10 prospects. Not your best. I mean, we're 3 months away because Jensen's going to make the opening day roster from Blake Mitchell being the number 1 prospect in your organization, and David Shields is your number 1 pitching prospect in the organization. Can't give up all 3 of those for Duran.
Yeah.
Can't do
No,
it.
thank you.
913-586-7965 is our number. They win 10 more games this year by moving in the fences. 10 more games? I'd be happy if they win 4 more games based off of the fences being moved.
I think a bit of a reach.
I think that's a bit of a reach. The numbers, the analytics give the Royals about 1.5 more wins with the new dimensions. We'll talk more about that. Somebody asked in the text line, if a pass rusher that KC likes is gone, go get Caleb Williams. Well, I have a hypothetical that I want to close the show with tonight, okay? If X, 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 and X are still on the board with the Chiefs picking at 9, who would you like to see them take? We'll do that coming up here on After Hours. Logan Weber, Julio Sanchez, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Football playoffs are here, and Underdog is the best place to get in on the gridiron action because you can make entries and win money. Right now in Missouri, it is incredibly easy to get started over on Underdog. Just choose one of your favorite players and choose if they'll go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, rushing yards, receptions, and more. Get them right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, T-A-P-P. The best place to get in on the gridiron action right now in Missouri. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Got a few minutes left in the program here. After Hours, 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside Julio Sanchez. And talking NFL draft, Chiefs with the 9th overall pick, and these are going to be the hypotheticals we will raise almost on a daily basis for the next 3 months until the draft in April. And, saw this earlier in the week, and I found it to be an interesting question because I found my opinion changing on it as I was thinking about it, like in real time. I'm like, oh, this is obvious. You take this guy. And then I'm like, well, the more I think about it, what if this happened, So here's the thought. The draft gets through the first 8 picks. Chiefs come up at number 9. And these 4 players are still available. This hypothetical comes down to the Chiefs draft one of these 4 players. They may not draft any of them, but these 4 players are the hypothetical. Jeremiah Love, right, is on the board still. David Bailey out of Texas Tech is on the board still. Peter Woods from Clemson, interior lineman, is on the board still. And Caleb Downs from Ohio State is on the board still. Of those 4 names, Chiefs at number 9, all 4 are available. Who do you think the Chiefs pick or should pick in that situation?
Who are you going with?
I said earlier I'm a huge fan of Peter Woods. So that's sort of where I immediately lean, is with Peter Woods. But the opinion changes depending on what happens for the Chiefs. Let's think for a moment about what the Chiefs secondary could look like coming up in the April draft, right? I think the chances of re-signing, oh my goodness, why am I blanking? Brian Cook are not high. I mean, Spot Track has him somewhere in the area of like $15 million a year for AAV. That is far too rich for the Chiefs' blood at this point. Not with all the other things they got going on salary cap-wise. I'm not sure they can afford to keep Brian Cook. So they might be in need of a safety. Unless you and I, as Chiefs fans, are comfortable with a combination of Jaden Hicks, I like Jaden Hicks, and Shamari Connor leading the safety room next year.
A lot of this is going to depend on what they do in free agency, right? But, man, with as much help as they need on the defensive line, I can't see using, again, a top 10 pick to draft a safety.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just
that would hurt my soul.
If you lose Brian Cook, and so here's another situation. What if they can't re-sign Brian Cook and they trade Trent McDuffie?
Depends on the kind of draft capital they get back.
I don't disagree.
Honestly.
I also think that
there's a lot of moving parts to this.
I think Caleb Downs might be the best safety prospect to enter the league in 20 years. I'm not sure I've seen a better safety product enter this league since Sean Taylor.
The problem is the amount you're going to pay to get a safety on the free agency market versus defensive line help. I mean, you're going to double that amount if you're looking for defensive line help on the free agency market. So
I really like Peter Woods as a prospect. I do. I don't think that David Bailey's still going to be available at 9, but I think in this scenario, if I'm being completely honest with myself, if those are the 4 names, I think you have to take David Bailey.
I would agree. That's where I'm leaning.
I think that Peter Woods will be a better player. That's just this person's opinion on it. I've watched a couple hours of tape on either of these guys. Somebody real quick, would we trade McDuffie for another first-round pick? If it was a first-round pick in return, yeah, probably.
Oh yeah.
I think that frankly it might have to be a little bit more than a first-round pick, maybe like a first and a third. I mean, if Sauce Gardner warranted 2 firsts, McDuffie's got to be worth a first and a day 2 pick.
Correct.
I think he has to be.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, I feel like is kind of a slap in the face to the Chiefs. But I think that they may be better off moving on from him this offseason because they're not going to be able to afford a contract for him next year
salary
anyway,
cap right
man.
now. They're going to struggle.
There's just no way. Not unless you are 100% comfortable with Chris Jones walking when this season ends. Which leads me right back to my Peter Woods conversation, that you're going to need more on the interior of your defensive line moving forward, right? They may be thinking about this from ramifications, not just for next year, but for the next several years, because they're going to have to do some things that are going to make people a little uncomfortable if they haven't already. For my producer, Julio Sanchez, I'm Logan Weber. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the text line as you always do. I love being able to talk with you guys every single night here on the show. It'll be Bink back with you guys tomorrow here on After Hours, your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
It's really been amazing, the amount of people that I've had contact me, and the talk is generally centered around QC Kinetics, and whether it's a knee, whether it's a back, a hip, shoulder.
He's always happy to talk about how QC Kinetics all-natural regenerative treatments finally gave him relief without surgery. That's former pro football player Bobby Carpenter.
My message to them is do not wait and push off a week, a month, whatever it is. So if you want to feel better this summer, now would be the time to get in. If you want to feel better in the fall, make sure that you're getting in here so you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Spoken by a man who experienced relief firsthand. QC Kinetics gave this former pro athlete back his mobility, his activity, and they'll do the same for you.
Has really helped me in just my general quality of life.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Belden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R. We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Live from the Union Station by JP's Gastropub, this is the Jerome Tang Show on the K-State Sports Network from Learfield. Brought to you by Union Station by JP's Gastropub. Great food by Wildcats for Wildcats. Always open to the public and located in the K-State Student Union. Kansas Land Tire. Out of air or need repair? These guys care. The Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. And by Kansas Strong. Strength through reliable oil and natural gas. Get the facts at kansasstrong.com. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson.
Well, a very pleasant good evening, Wildcat Nation, and welcome to another edition